First of all, was your action deliberately timed to coincide with ASLEF's overtime ban today? And overall, what do you think the impact will be today on the travelling public?
Well, we don't coordinate with ASLEF. They make their own decisions. They're a separate trade union. The impacts today will be severe. I think up to 50% of the railways is closed down. We don't take any pleasure in that. We want people to be able to go about their business, but we've got a very serious industrial dispute with the train operating companies, and they do the bidding of the government. So what we need in the next period is proper negotiations. We've had a letter yesterday from the train operating company saying come over for talks next week, but we need a new position given to them by the government, a new mandate, so that we can progress this matter to a conclusion that can satisfy all the parties.
But does that give you some sense of optimism, this invitation for talks next week?
Well, the talks next week, we'll go over to them in the spirit of goodwill. Everybody knows the issues. We know that we can get an agreement with the companies if the government allows it. So we'll be going over there. There's a lot of serious stuff that's involved. There's massive job cuts. We've had 2,300 redundancy notices just in the stations. We've got a lack of a pay deal for 4 years. They've offered us 9% over 4 years, which is paltry compared to the rate of inflation and the cost of living crisis. And we've got these attacks on our members' terms and conditions, which means that everybody will be worse off on the railway if you survive this jobs cull. And of course, for the public, they've got these massive cuts to service. Disabled people, people with impairments are all up in arms through this public consultation. 500,000 people have responded. So the government needs to listen to where the people are, needs to listen to where the workers are, and allow us to get on with resetting the railway so it's fit for the future and that we've got an agreement for everybody that's involved.
Yeah, and as far as I'm aware, the government is still saying that the offer that they've given you is fair and reasonable. And the Rail Delivery Group has certainly until recently said that they wouldn't restart talks until the unions show movement, they say, on changes to working practices. Does this mean that there has been some movement in that area, the fact that talks look like they're going to happen next week?
Well, there's no movement at the moment. It's not a fair and reasonable offer. There's no pay offer on the table. What the offer is that if we are prepared to accept all of these cuts, thousands of our members losing their jobs, our conditions being chopped up and diluted, then we can generate some money that they will then put into salaries. So there's no new money on the table. Nobody's providing money for pay rises. Our members have got to provide that money for themselves. And of course, if you lose your job, you won't get a pay rise. And if you stay in your job's going to be worse than it is now, and the service will be worse for the public. So we need some genuine creativity. We're prepared to do that and work with the companies. They've got what they call a workforce reform agenda. We've got an agenda that's about job security and looking after our people. If they can make us a standalone pay offer for last year, we're 18 months behind on that, then we can perhaps move forward. So last week we put some proposals to them about moving this forward, how we can structure the talks and how we can structure creating a dialogue and an outcome. At the moment, they've refused to pick that up, but we'll see what they say next week. If they're inviting us for talks, they better have a slightly different agenda than before so that we can create something going forward.
OK, well, Mick Lynch, we look forward to talking to you after those talks and see what happened there. But thanks very much indeed for your time this morning. Thank you.